Do you feel your job is both pointless and meaningless and makes no sense in even existing? Well, you are probably right. And before I forget it, welcome ladies and gentlemen to my first ever book review on YouTube. Bullshit Jobs, a Theory is a book by anthropologist Professor David Graeber at the London School of Economics, published in 2018. In this book, Graeber argues that over half of all societal work is insignificant and meaningless, some of them even absurd, which becomes mentally destructive when paired together with the work ethics of the Western world that associates work with self-worth. This book was written after the author wrote a blog post essay in 2013 about unnecessary jobs, which apparently went viral. The exposure of that blog post made people send stories of their own pointless jobs, which he has collected and comments upon in this book through its 327 pages. The chapters are structured as questions that the author tries to answer, and they are as follows. What's a bullshit job? What sorts of bullshit jobs are there? Why do those in bullshit jobs regularly report themselves unhappy? What is it like to have a bullshit job? Why are bullshit jobs proliferating? Why do we as a society not object to the growth of pointless employment? And what are the political effects of bullshit jobs? And is there anything that can be done about this situation? There are millions upon millions of people, HR consultants, communication coordinators, telemarketing researchers, corporate lawyers, etc., whose jobs are useless, and tragically, they know it. These people are caught in what Graeber defines as bullshit jobs, which must not be confused with shit jobs, where you almost work yourself to death with little economical compensation. I've had both kinds, mostly shit jobs where the workload has been insane. The one, if not the only, positive aspect about a shit job in my opinion is that there is a lot to do, often way too much, which makes the time pass by rather quickly. The two more or less pointless jobs I've had involved about a total of 30 to 40 minutes of active working during 8-hour shifts. For some people, this might seem as an awesome dream, getting paid for not doing anything, but I shit you not, for me personally, that is the definition of torture.
Fresh meat.
To quote the book, in the year 1930, John Maynard Keynes predicted that by century's end, technology would have advanced sufficiently that countries like Great Britain or the United States would have achieved a 15-hour work week. There's every reason to believe he was right. In technological terms, we are quite capable of this, and yet it didn't happen. Instead, technology has been marshaled, if anything, to figure out ways to make us all work more. In order to achieve this, jobs have had to be created that are effectively pointless. Huge swaths of people in Europe and North America in particular spend their entire working lives performing tasks they secretly believe do not really need to be performed. The moral and spiritual damage that comes from this situation is profound. It is a scar across our collective soul, yet virtually no one talks about it. The author is a self-proclaimed anarchist, skeptical of both large governments and large corporations, criticizing both the left and the right, which I see as a good thing considering the topic of the book, which in itself is interesting. But does Graeber actually answer the questions he puts forth? Well, not really, as this book suffers from a lack of real scientific research, as Bullshit Jobs, a Theory builds its premise on earlier mentioned work stories from different people, making the book more or less totally anecdotal. But the anecdotes are what makes the book readable and slightly entertaining at times. I myself love complaining about my job or earlier jobs, and reading other people's stories about their meaningless and soul-destroying work makes me relate, cause whining is fun. One of my best friendships in life I actually made with an old colleague, and we found our friendship in our love for beer and whining about our work. That was a shit job with little to no time complaining during work hours, so we mostly talked after work over 8 to 15 beers. Every day. For 2 years. Overall, I'd say that this book is easy to read, and it is enjoyable for stretches, but it does get a bit repetitive and sluggish during the last third part of the book. Bullshit Jobs, a Theory could easily have been narrowed down from its 327 pages to like 220, because towards the end it became a bit boring. Overall, an okay book, so my score ends up on 2.5 out of 5.